Welcome to the Rippy Effect. I'm Jackie Hunter, your host.
Previously, he worked as Director of Education. You are a gastroenterologist.
Welcome to the show. Thank you. And I hail Samantha.
Yes. I have been telling my guests that it's so important for them to drink lots of water. Welcome to the Rippy Effect. I'm Jackie Hunter, your host, and today we have a very exciting show. You can tell by my background that we're going to be doing something that deals with space. Well, last year, before the pandemic, I had the opportunity to attend Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama, and it was a great experience. And I'd like to share it with you because I'm sure that one day soon, coronavirus will be behind us and Space Camp will be back in business with wonderful experiences for middle school, high schoolers, and adults. And so, without further ado, I'm going to be sharing with you my experience at Space Camp, which will be followed by my interview with the engineer who was our team leader. Her name is Sarah Hunting. Welcome to the Rippy Effect. And I am live from the Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. And sitting next to me is Sarah Hunting. Sarah is a trainer here at the Space Camp. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah, as you said, sorry. I'm from Washington State. I grew up near the Seattle area. I went to college at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Very impressive.
I have a bachelor's and a master's degree from Johns Hopkins. And after Hopkins, I moved to California and became a civil engineer. I decided that I wanted to take a couple years off from engineering and come work at Space Camp and try and create new engineers for the next generation. I think it's important to educate people on different STEM fields, and there's so much confusion, I think, in the world as to what an engineer, an astronaut, a scientist does, and how easy it is to actually enter those fields. So here at Space Camp, we try and promote learning across all boards, and it's such a great place to work and meet people.
I can tell you really enjoy doing this work too.
I really do.
I've been having a great time here under Sarah's leadership. And as a trainer, what kinds of things do you go through as a trainer?
As a trainer, we spend a lot of time in training learning about space history. We learn how to build rockets of all the way from really easy basic kits to more complicated kits to actually building rockets with no blueprints and just designing your own, so we can help lead different teams through those rocket experiences. We also do a lot of different engineering challenges here. Everything from creating heat shields to astronaut suits to working as a team to complete a space mission. We also have a robotics camp here for elementary and junior high kids.
Oh, that's great.
And so we help engineering teams build Lego robots and then compete on moon base tables to do programming and remote controlled robots. We also have a cyber camp here for high school kids to learn about cybersecurity that we partnered with University of Alabama Huntsville and the FBI. So I'm a crew trainer for all of those 3 camps. In addition, we have an aviation challenge camp where we
plan to try that next year too. I'm excited about that.
It's fun because space and aviation go hand in hand. So at that camp we teach children and adults how to not only fly airplanes, but then how to do rescue operations if a helicopter or plane was to crash in the woods or the ocean. And that one is a very enjoyable camp too. Pretty much everything here is very unique.
Space Camp is a very exciting place. And for anyone who's interested in coming to Space Camp, what should they do?
We have a great website called Space Camp. You can Google it, and I highly recommend you can either go online with parents' permission or and look at the different programs. And if you're ever confused, we have very knowledgeable staff in our sales department who's more than happy to answer your questions. And if they ever don't know, they'll contact a crew trainer. So it's great to just go online and see what the options are, especially with this being the Apollo's 50th anniversary.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we have some great things on our website to do outreach around the country and the world to try and get children involved in STEM activities this upcoming summer.
So it's spacecamp.com,
Yeah,
right?
spacecamp.com.
Okay. I know there are a lot of young people out there who might be interested in becoming engineers, and maybe you have some advice for them.
Becoming an engineer can be tricky because a lot of people don't know what engineers do. Engineers basically create things. We use our imagination to build new things, and we try and solve problems. So one of the things I recommend to young engineers or scientists is to try and work on your math and science. But math and science can often be scary, especially if you don't have a lot of resources at your school. There's a great free resource called Best Robotics.
Robotics.
Yeah, and they will help you build robots out of wooden pieces and plastic for free.
What about YouTube? That helps
YouTube
too.
has a lot of great
a lot of stuff on
things.
YouTube.
Yeah, in fact, there's something also called Khan Academy that breaks down math and science classes for free.
Okay, you said Khan, C-O-N?
Nope, Khan. It's a great tutoring resource if you ever struggle with math or science.
Okay.
And it breaks down math and science into easy modules that you can build upon. So you start basic and work higher. It's a great online free resource. And so I highly recommend that students, if you're ever wondering how to pursue a higher education, you don't want to get to college and then try. You want to try and see what you like ahead of time. There's always great internships out there. Even NASA starts internships.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, as young as 16, NASA does
that's
internships.
Great. And what do they have to do? Do they have to be extremely good in mathematics and science, or what?
Yeah, in fact, that's one thing is a lot of people don't start out good. So one of the things, all you have to do is be willing to put in the time and the effort.
I agree.
Yeah, so NASA recognizes that. So a lot of times there are internships for the younger high school students. You actually don't have to know how to do math or science. We want to get you interested in it, and then once you know that you like it, you can always learn later. The question is, you need to try it first.
I agree, and I want to see more girls in science.
Definitely.
So, thank you so much, Sarah Hunting, for your time, and we really enjoyed being here.
Thank you. I've had a wonderful time, and I really enjoyed having you.
Thank you. So I hope that you enjoyed my visit to Space Camp. And now I'm going to share with you a video that shows you some of the outstanding things that have been done, some of the outstanding inventions made by some very important women. Stay tuned.
When you study science, you hear a lot of famous names, like Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Stephen Hawking. But hang on a minute, what about all the women? What amazing ideas and inventions have they created? Let's find out. Marie Curie was born in Poland, but did most of her work in France. She is the only person to win a Nobel Prize. That's the biggest award in science, for 2 different areas. The first was for physics. Marie and her husband Pierre studied radiation, which is random energy that atoms give out. It can be very dangerous, but it can also be used to treat cancer, for example. Her second prize was for chemistry, because she discovered 2 elements, radium and polonium. Jane Goodall is a British scientist who studies animal behavior, especially chimpanzees. She really loves her job, and she has spent 55 years studying a group of wild chimpanzees in Tanzania. Her work showed us that we're much closer to the animal kingdom than we thought. She observes chimpanzees using simple tools. Before, we thought humans were the only creatures smart enough to do this. Grace Hopper worked for the US Navy for 42 years and was one of the most important people in the development of modern computer software. A computer normally works in ones and zeros. We call this binary code. But if you want to make the computer do something complicated, you would have to write a lot of ones and zeros, and we really mean a lot. Grace Hopper's idea was to create a compiler, so you could write in English, for example, and the compiler would turn it into binary code. Without her, you wouldn't be sitting here watching us on YouTube, so thanks, Grace. Rosalind Franklin was a British chemist who died very young, at just 37. She was working on a very important subject, the study of DNA. You are made up of lots of tiny cells. Those cells only know what size, shape, and function they should have because it's written in your DNA. DNA is like a code book that explains everything from your hair color, how tall you are, how many fingers you have, everything. Rosalind Franklin took X-ray pictures of DNA, and she almost worked out its structure. However, 2 male scientists, Watson and Crick, used her discovery themselves and won a Nobel Prize. So she doesn't get the credit that she should. No fair. Anyone can be a great scientist. All you need is to study hard and to look for answers that no one else has thought of. Oh, and you need a white coat, of course.
Well, this concludes our show. And I hope that you will join me next week for the last show of the season, when I will interview my friend, Michael Hall, who is a chemical engineer. I'm Jackie Hunter, your host, and I'll see you next time.